This is kolian. Oh, we saw him in game 1 with his Death Roller Dwarfs. Looks like they're on defense.
That's definitely not a defensive setup from Hoyleyboy, so this is...
Yeah.
Don't know who chose to kick of double fame, which is rare, but he got it.
Yeah. You got 2. And Hoyleyboy's got 3 rurals and an Apo. All of which will likely come in handy. Just a big wall of guard guys and a Death Roller right in the middle. Not sure I really like having the Death Roller all by himself. You can 2-dice him if you wanted to. And you're obviously going to hit these guys, so you should have a path through to bring another assist in. And 8 strength with the Ogre. Or you could just leave him alone, either way. Maybe even red dice block with a Wrestleman. Looks like the plan is to leave him alone.
At most, I think you base him in case of a blitz, but, you know, that should be enough.
Yeah, that is a good point.
And a 3D EV, and then he's going to probably take a blitz on this left side with his MBT.
It's not really an I'm going to score fast setup.
No. Though humans don't have to do that setup, right? Because they've got a catcher. Though he's only fielding 1 catcher. I guess the side step is for his 1 turns then.
Yeah. Although that won't be coming up for a very long time, and it's hard to plan for turn 16 when it's turn 1. Right, he's only got 1 catcher and it's deep. So if things go really well, he may shift into more of a let's get forward and score quickly, just to get rid of the Death Roller, but who knows? Stick around and we'll find out.
Ogre does its job, which is a rare sight, but good job, Ogre.
Hey.
That guy knocked over. About all you can ask of him.
Yeah, you got a Mighty Blow guy to come up here, Blitz, move back a little bit. You can send a few people back over here to try and cut off the side and at least threaten to score quickly. You don't necessarily have to do it, but threatening it may change the way the dwarfs defend a little bit.
Lineman 1 square out of range of being surfed. Nice.
Yeah, well. All right, it's a good start. Hasn't broken any armor, but they are dwarfs. And knocking over a few of them is pretty nice. Yeah, catcher will come somewhere up here, maybe even all the way to this square, if you can reach that. 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, that would make him a scoring threat. No, he's not going to be too aggressive.
He's committing a bit to one side, though.
Yeah.
The humans are quick enough they can reverse without too much trouble.
He does have 5 players in the left wide zone. That's a bit much. And yeah, they're fast, but they're not gutter runners.
No, they're not Wood Elves or Skaven, who can move left and right however much they want.
Yeah, and his most forward player is just a lineman. Even if he's not knocked down here on a blitz, which looks like he might be a target. He still can't get very far. No, we're just going to death roll somebody. Sure, why not? Triple push, not very death rolly. This is a tough match for dwarfs. Not easy to position around the humans. Because I just got finished saying that they're not that fast, but they're fast enough to cause you
Yeah.
real problems.
Now the Slayer being on the outside here means that it is kind of, you don't really want to try and force your way up.
He's put a lot
So
of
you're fighting
people
him.
on this this
Yeah.
one player here, so he's really going all out to wall off that side.
It threatens the surf as well, so
Yeah. It takes a few people to do it. You got to push them this way and then there, and if nothing goes wrong,
Statue
obviously.
Ogre, let's
Yeah. Ooh.
go.
Yeah. Well, if nothing goes wrong, and nothing could possibly go wrong when you start out with your ogre, and it works, you're just dodging this guy back anyway.
She's dying somewhere. Possibly from the heat, but also from the fact that a good coach took over first action 1 and 9.
He's got a blitz, and the way he's done it, it's a chain. And it's a removal.
Eglo causes a KO.
Yeah, it does mean your main blitzer is stuck on a Longbeard now, though. So it's not ideal, but you know,
Fortunately, not the guard long. It's not a guard Longbeard, so getting the assists, especially even with the frenzy mighty blow, it's going to be a little bit tricky, but not too hard.
Right. He does have a guard ogre supporting him. But yeah, you can take some of these guards, just move them forward a little bit. Then you got a block here, and you can blitz maybe this guy in front of him.
One dice with this wrestler on the right side, or do you dodge out with it?
I'd be tempted to dodge out just because you're so much faster.
You take the wrestler hit though.
I mean, that's equally effective, right? Because that dwarf's going nowhere next turn. All right, and he shows him to dodge the other one.
Makes sense. If you're gonna take the 2+ action and then take the 3+ when you
I mean,
less than that.
This was red dice. It's not a block you want to do. And suddenly the dwarfs don't really seem so strung out anymore. Right, this last player here can move back, and you've got a good defensive setup. And if the humans do want to change sides, well, there's a death roller in the way.
Yeah, the humans have kind of shepherded themselves. Haven't shepherded themselves here a little bit too much.
They've walked into a corner, and look at that death roller, shutting things down. I was going to say what they might need to consider next turn is just not so much changing sides, but just running everybody backwards. You know, with camera, you won't be able to get well established up here, but you can establish a cage sort of in this area and at least get your team out of this black hole that you've walked into.
This is quite a poor situation for Hoyleyboy. All of his blitzers and guard is based. He got 2 wrestlers on 1 dwarf. Very little ways to move himself forward. It's pretty rough. Pretty good defense so far by kolian.
Death Roller is an excellent spot, doing great Death Roller work. Let's see. If you blocked straight to the right with the ogre to get this Longbeard out of the way, you could try running through right to the middle here. It's a little scary, and it probably means making at least a dodge with one of these wrestlers on the right, if not both.
You could just blitz with a lineman for a POW or for a push on that guy on the Longbeard next to the ogre, right?
Looks like that's what he's doing. And
there's the first reroll gone.
1 in 81. Oh, and now
haven't seen one yet today, but we were kind of due for one.
Yeah, and now the ball carrier is just completely gone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You could try to surf him with a GFI after you knock this player out of the way. Or you can.
Makes that a bit harder to get the surf. It's gonna be a 1 dice on the first.
Oh, you bring this guy like to
So
hear.
if you, yeah, because you want to have a
1, 2,
recovery. I think you
3,
just push him.
4. Oh, this guy is guard.
Yeah,
Ooh.
I think you just push him inwards, or maybe you just take it the hit with the bludger.
You might try the 1-into-1 surf too, rather than well, it's that or a 2
You
dice
can also
block,
roll some
right?
dice like this. So
Yeah. Once you knock the ogre down, things become a lot more open.
takes them both down there.
Yeah, you can't push that guy into contact with the ball.
Yeah, we're just gonna go to a dual one.
Yeah,
All right.
and it's good enough.
Oh, it's good enough though. Scatter's pretty okay for the humans, so the death roller's gonna get right onto that.
Yeah. Death roller can block, and then this guy will be free to come around as well. Maybe let me do that first.
Scatter up to the left is probably good enough.
That
That's pretty much
scatters.
the best. I don't know if there's a better result.
No, that's the dream scatter. And now you just pick the ball up.
It's gonna be hard for the dwarfs to protect it, but this is pretty much the best way their defense could have gone so early. Yeah, it's gonna deny.
Yeah. There. You'll probably have
Still a relatively
Yeah.
simple 3+ and to get a 1D on that with the wrestle guy, but
You got to get a guard in
considering
there
the
somewhere.
situation,
Yeah, this block here. This guy's free.
block with the blitzer to push him down, and then you get a 1 dice
Right,
on
and
it with wrestle.
then this player's free. Well, no, he's not because there's a death roller in the way.
Don't know why that dodge is happening. I guess we're going for a 2 dice. Yeah, he wanted, but he couldn't get a 2.
No, I don't see how you even get an assist in there. Anyway, it's a snake eye and a really critical one. I don't see exactly what the plan was for that either, but I mean, you can take comfort in knowing that whatever you did, it wasn't going to work. And now the death roller is free. A couple of these longbeards are free. You can cage. You can even
might be leaving the field early, but that'll be because the dwarf will be scoring.
The death roller can move down here, and then you can even just run up the left side here.
Yep.
And it takes 2 of the wrestlers out of the game.
These have had a bit of bad dice, but they kind of got into a rough position to start all the chain of this bad dice out. So
Yeah, that offense really never had a chance. It was maybe a bit of not sure if I should try to score fast or not, so I kind of did a half and half, and you got to commit to something to have a better chance of it working. That's an excellent square to be in because it means there's no easy dodges for these 2 standing up players. This one last Longbeard is free to maybe do something. And you're technically even in scoring range. 1, 3, 5, 7, 8. So pure skill has displayed some pure skill, and it was really nicely done.
Yeah, there's like a wrestle lineman that can get back to base, but that's not really a threat.
And it's not that promising.
Clinging range, but it will require a 4+, 3+
4, 5,
dodge to
6,
get a 1 dice
7,
block,
8.
and that's just not anything interesting.
Yeah, you know things have gone wrong when it's your offense and you're looking at desperation plays to try and sack the ball.
Yeah.
Oops. This was pretty aggressive and wasn't able to do it. Maybe if you're the humans, well, he's left everybody on the ground, so that's kind of disappointing. You start to think, wow, can I get him to score a turn or two early and then have a chance to counter? I haven't suffered any attrition. I could even one turn if I had to. I could give that a try.
At this point, this is going to be a pretty simple stall, almost certainly.
Well, it
Dwarves.
definitely is now.
I don't really know.
The
I mean,
humans are
maybe
gonna.
again we can see some human dodging, but
No. Well, the humans are gonna start their next turn with every single player on the ground. So
there's
that's
no. I don't think they score here earlier than turn 7.
1, 2, 3. You can put the death roller down here. Or you just put a normal dwarf there. Death roller can go wherever he wants.
Death roller foul should also be something we look at to see in the next couple of turns.
Oh yeah, definitely. Kolian is well
Anyways.
aware of the fact that you start fouling with your death roller at the end of your drive.
Catcher probably is going to be the target. Looking at those weird assists, but maybe it'll be the guard blitzer. Those would be the two targets I expect to see this turn, and it's
All right, going after the catcher. Huh?
nothing.
No. Well, at least he's still there for another turn. Plus, being in that particular square means that with no armor break, there's no easy dodge for the catcher out either. If you wanted to come farther down to foul one of these places, like the guard blitzer, then maybe there's a way to dodge out. Maybe not.
That.
I might be just completely confused. Oh, look at that. One dice didn't on him down, though. It's kind of a shame you can't push him in the end zone from here.
Oh, you would love to have done that.
Yeah, everything's worked. Yeah.
Still have two chances to score with some movement 8, and a death roller gone, and a potential dwarf still out.
Right, and again,
Not a bad shot at all.
he hasn't suffered any attrition. The dwarfs have one player KO'd. Yeah, dodging has not worked well for him for the most part.
No, I think he's failed every dodge so
Right,
far.
and he's still not standing up any of these players. All these guys in the backfield could potentially have come in handy in a turn or two if they were standing up now, but they're just lying there and they're not going to go anywhere.
Is GFIs now for the.
Well, if you just block them here, it's 2 dice.
That was an awkward push. Was the
Yeah, right. I mean, you're pushing him into contact. And where you go with the ball now? You back up? You come to this square?
You go backwards behind.
Right, because you can bring these guys here to make a cage.
Foul the death roller again.
Yep. He's got more dwarfs free that can come down to assist fouls because, again, Hoyleyboy didn't stand up any of his guys. Just making it a little too easy, I think.
Cage dive is on again. I don't think it needed to have been on. I think you could have made this if there wasn't a cage dive. That's a 1 dice on, because you can go and face the Troll Slayer and then.
Yeah, the only
5+ dodge in.
Yeah. The only square you can hit from is this one right here, but that's only a 5+ dodge to wrestle.
Not bad.
No, I mean it didn't have to be there.
If it was a 5+ for a -2 would be fine. I think a 5+ for a 1D is a bit generous.
Right, with wrestle.
We've seen these 1 in 6 chances to knock the ball over before, so you might as well take it.
And again, it's a 1 in 3 chance, really.
Oh, it's a 1 in 6 with a. So what is it? It's a 1 in.
It's a 5+5+, because he'd be hitting with wrestle.
You need both works. It's like what, a 4 out of 9, something like
that. Something like that.
It's a 1 out of 9, yeah. Not 1 in 6, 1 in 9 chance to dodge. 1 in 9 chance to hit the ball's not. Yeah.
Math is
But it's
hard when you've
already
been watching dwarfs all day. It's hard to keep your mind sharp. But never mind. Here's what he's doing. He's just going to double
they
skull
are
against the
basing
Troll
the ball,
Slayer anyway.
and those are block dice.
Yeah. Basing the ball doesn't really help you here.
Does succeed in a dodge though, so
Now, it's just a couple of 2Ds to score. Not hard. All right, one of these guys can come
trick
blitz
here is
him,
that the
move over.
pushes. He doesn't want to score this turn. He wants to score next turn. The pushes do make it a little tricky to get Cage now that he's committed back to facing up.
Hmm. Yeah, if your goal is to stall another turn, well, you have you can maybe do a GFI to bring this Longbeard to this square. The wrestle piece is going to be probably knocked over. The other wrestle piece is stunned.
Stun there is pretty useful, to say the least. 'Cause
Yeah,
now
it's
the
one less
mirror
player
engine
who
is
could
connected to it.
cage
Yeah.
dive. That's another player who can't cage dive anymore. The only person now you really have to worry about is the catcher.
Looks like he's deciding he doesn't care about the catcher,
If you
which fair enough.
maybe you move to the square 2 below the catcher. I'm trying to point it out, but the camera keeps moving. Then there's no dodge really.
I mean, yeah, you dodge. Well, if you use 2 below the catcher just dodges
Dodges sideways.
backwards one
Yeah.
square. Yeah.
Oh no, he's just gonna score.
He's gonna give
Did this
him
guy
one turn
reach 2,
chance.
4, 6? Yeah, this guy probably could have done something. Well, it's a safe move. Even
Your
if you
rules
do
are
give up,
impactful.
even if you do give up a 1 turn, well, it's not the end of the world. I mean, you had a KO that you would have hoped to get back. It didn't work out.
I think if you told Kolian that you go into the next half drawn,
Yeah,
sure,
that's pretty
it
good.
sucks
That's
that the opportunity could be there to be up 1. You had the chance for that very clearly, but
well, you still have the chance for it. This is not, well, it's not a super 1-turn defense.
no, I don't know what this is.
At the very least, these 3 Longbeards should not be tight in the middle.
No, this seems very confident that the humans can't 1-turn, though they don't have a reroll, but they have sidestep. This is not that hard.
Now they have a shot. I guess we should stay looking at this side for the rest of the turn here. Usually, my rule of thumb when I'm setting up this sort of thing is that the catcher who you're going to score with, clearly the sidestep guy, should be lined up on the right across from one of the outside men. So he's right in the middle.
Yeah.
I don't like that as much because it's harder to push him forward. Oh, never mind. Pure skill. It doesn't mean you can't blitz this catcher and knock him down. So I guess, hey, that kind of worked out.
This one, I guess you just mash onto the LOS.
Yeah, just put a big line of guys.
Blitz the outside catcher. Yeah.
Reroll
That
a
early
little
is a bit
scary.
aggressive, but
Yeah.
also
I mean, you're not going to
showing
roll any other dice this half, so the reroll is all right, but you should have moved all these guys first before doing the block. I probably would have screwed that up myself, but still.
If you're going to greed that, you go and just run everyone into contact immediately. Unless there's some specific result that you do, or specific action that you do after getting a knockdown and a removal that I'm not seeing.
No, and there really isn't anything.
But I don't think there was one.
Yeah. So this is probably enough to make Hoyleyboy just say, okay, I only have 1 minute. If there's a way for me to make this work, I'll never find it. Let's just take all those blocks and knock down all these dwarfs and get 0 armor breaks on any of them.
Mind that Kolian is going to get a second turn after this as well, so he's going to get another turn to hit back.
Right. I mean, so even just taking all the blocks is a little scary because you screw one up, then you turn over, and suddenly dwarfs are all managing you and all blocking you. Sure is a lot of guards to deal with. And he's knocking everybody over and getting no armor breaks. But never mind, there's one.
These removals are important right now for... Yeah,
Ooh,
that's
power.
not a bad apple at all there.
That's one I'd be tempted to let go just because you got a 50-50 chance of getting him back anyway.
Pretty down players you really don't want to be down to,
Yeah.
considering...
He's already failed his
Play
first
already,
KO roll.
but yeah.
Maybe that's the right move, but it's one I probably wouldn't have done just because I'd be a little greedy and hope for a better chance of it doing something in the second half.
Dice Pows.
Right, get dwarfed on. There's another KO.
Dice Pow for a dwarf too. It's a removal automatically.
Yeah, that's usually the other way around. Sorry, dwarfs. You better hope you get some of those guys back.
Throws the ball away to make sure I guess the dwarfs can't get to it, though. A bit of risk of the ball scattering out into the crowd. And
it's turn 8. The dwarfs can't do anything with it. He's just throwing it because it's funny. The dwarfs tragically getting outbashed, but they did manage to score on defense. And we'll see which team wins the KO roll battle because there are going to be a bunch of them.
Okay, the apothecary. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
You have to keep your guard in if you're the humans.
Yeah, that's a very important player.
Dwarves do get one of their guards back, so ultimately the Epo was fine. They didn't really change anything.
The humans are just down alignment, but they still have 11 for defense. And the dwarfs will have 10 on offense. Again, don't have to score, but they'd certainly like to. And this is an elimination game, so Hoyleyboy can't really sit back and relax and not go for this. And Kolian has done a good job in the games we've seen him keeping his runner on the pitch. That's useful.
And he has been blodged in a tournament that hasn't shown a lot of tackle. And so Mighty Blow's also wanted to hit, his guard players as well. So it hasn't been exposed to danger.
Right.
And when it has, the danger really hasn't been there. So
it's just the one risk, such as it is, of his team is that he only has one player who's agility 3, and that player's just been there for him for all of both games.
Yeah, Fame there does give Kolian the extra reroll. It's 1. They both rolled 1s, but he got a +2 for Fame.
Yeah, that'll be That'll be super helpful for him.
Especially with any chance at overtime. Being even on rerolls is really great right now because the humans are going to have to use it to try and get back into the game.
Yeah, there's a good chance the humans use a couple of rerolls early because they do have to. They're the ones that have to take all the risks.
Hmm.
I guess that's the blitz on the thrower on the outside. Yeah, because there's really nobody else to hit, and it works. Solid start.
This kick is probably fine with the way Hoyleyboy went with an arrow setup. If he'd gone wider, that kick would have been a bit more dangerous for him.
Yeah, it's in a
First, he had to
dangerous.
pull it up,
It's in
but
sort of a middle ground where he'd like to either be closer to his supporting dwarfs or farther away so that the catchers can't reach it. But he has no
overall,
trouble
I think
picking
it's
it
fine.
up.
Yeah.
What do you got? There isn't an awful lot. Do you feel like blitzing with an ogre? You can at least hit the troll slayer.
He's happy to just activate. Maybe you blitz the Troll Slayer with your Mighty Blow if you want to do that.
Yeah, I guess getting a
Not
guard
going
in
too
there is
safe.
good enough.
Gonna run around trying to put some pressure on, trying to split the team up a little bit. Maybe a hit. Nothing.
There are going to be enough dwarfs free to move that he should be able to keep this ball protected next turn. You can move all the way up. You can cage right in the middle of the field.
This is always an awkward position to be with humans because you just can't really. It's very you can't pressure the same way elves can.
Right. You
Even though
can't.
you need to.
Yeah, you can't go through. You have to go all the way around.
You're
You
just
don't have.
not quite fast enough. Like Necro would be better in this situation too, because with the wolves they'd be able to much more easily kind of force themselves into the backfield. Doing a better job of tying up the dwarves right now than linemen can. Kolian at the minimum should have an X cage this turn, or at
Yeah.
the end of this turn.
Yeah, it should not be difficult to set up. With that player there, maybe he's thinking Vengabus. With the guard dwarf that made the first block as the upper left corner. Because the ball can only get to here. You can cover both of these squares. This guy would have to move back. Someone else could fill in his square. There's a free player here. Troll Slayer can stand up and move a square back. And yeah, that's looks like what's happening.
At this point, also, you don't necessarily have to do a full Vengabus. You could just do a cage with the whole
Yeah.
build, because he's not expecting any 5+ cage dives at this point in the game.
Right.
At the end of the first
One of
half.
his wrestlers is KO'd. The other two are really not in a position to get in from the sides anyway. I don't really like using the Troll Slayer as a corner.
I guess because of his blitz choice, he didn't really have a better option at this point.
Yeah.
So you take what you can get. Do you -2 dice the ogre, or do you just dodge away, or you just stand there?
I think I might just stand there.
Okay.
And that's what happened. -2 is pretty scary if it fails. Because then this guy can knock the other dwarf over, and the ogre's just free to go wherever he wants.
Mhm. That blitzer can come up and you can base the troll slayer and you can base the other side of the cage. So it looks like the runner might have to take part in the play this turn, but not the worst thing.
Yeah, the slayer is going
It's
to
right
get
on the
blitzed.
troll slayer.
Maybe he'll even base the ball, dare I say it. Armor 8 being fine. And the ball's based. Well, these are the sort of things you got to try. You've got 2 free fast players on the left that can come around. You can even mark some of the other cage corners. Just make it really hard to clear everybody. It's a little
Well, in the
sacrificial.
previous game when we watched Kolian, the mass tackle spam wasn't really very useful against zombies. It's particularly useful right now against teams with these catchers who'd otherwise deal with just
Yep,
blocks.
you're going to get a 2 dice block with tackle. If it doesn't work, he can sidestep onto the ball.
I don't know if that GFI was necessary.
Or the reroll.
Yes, now you can't one dice to follow up onto the
He's trying to do the block. Will he get in time? He just barely does. Doesn't help him.
yeah, so now I guess the carrier can't, or the if he had based wrestle lineman, Kolian could have just taken a one dice for a push and then freed up put it in assist on the blitzer. The less solo marked all the
Yep.
cage parts are.
Suddenly it's looking like an elf defense. Everybody's kind of based, and it's hard to clear them all. If things go well, you can knock over 4 or 5 humans, maybe remove a couple, but if things don't go well, then there's no safe spot for the ball.
Yeah, pushes are pretty bad. This is a turn where a lot of pushes are going to be pretty problematic. But just some pows.
Yeah, you don't need them.
But that's how it goes. That's why you're just kind of having to gamble and force some pushes out here and try and get that out to give yourself a good shot. But that's not super likely against dwarfs, even with block players.
Mm. This guard can go there. I thought he would have come backwards because suddenly he's an assist for both of these blocks. Well, this one doesn't need an assist. That's a catcher.
So that catcher
That's
block is a little tedious because of the sidestep
yeah.
makes it not so you don't really want to take it right now.
And there's another one in 81. It's a safe one though, because block, but still, you really wouldn't want that to have happened.
It's not quite good enough.
Now,
For
this is kind of
potential
a
block.
hope for the best defense.
Let's
But
get the POW there. Again, pushes there would have been pretty annoying.
I think part of this is the
The
1 minute
POW's
turns. So you can't really find a good enough play. So you just
big removal.
make all the hits you can and hope for the best. And that is a big removal. That does help him.
And sidestep's going to get right onto the ball probably. Or it's going to... Yeah, I might just go onto the ball here. But
Yeah,
so
going onto the ball
the
is
ball is
annoying.
very all in, but staying
Yeah.
off of it is a bit safer.
It's not that effective. I mean, the catcher is...
All the
He doesn't
tackle you
have
get.
guard. He's only strength 2. He can't be an assist or anything.
True.
If you knock this Troll Slayer forward, like with this guy, that gets guard on the ball and opens up maybe even a 2 dice blitz around the side.
You got a one dice for a push into a hit on the ball now with tackle.
Yep. 1,
That's really
2,
good.
3, 4, 5,
Ogre
6.
also does it.
Yeah, there's at least a GFI.
Ogre saves the GFI. It's now just straight 2 up on the ball with a recovery option.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. GFI, GFI.
That way, he could have gone just straight forward.
Oh, you could have
straight
gone,
down,
yeah, from the top.
the front. Oh,
Yep.
that's
Oh,
some
uh-oh.
point.
Yeah,
Oh
well,
boy,
that's,
things happened.
all of a sudden, Hoyleyboy's got a chance. He's still got to pick this ball up and score, but once he does, Kolian has no ball carrier for the rest of the game.
Gets the wrestle, and oh boy,
Yeah, things
we're
have
live,
happened.
folks.
You've got a couple of dodge options to pick the ball up. He's going to do it with the guard guy and run away. And hey, look at that. Suddenly nobody can catch him.
Needs to do GF. He can do 2 GFIs here, and he can't even be based. And
Yep, and he failed the first one.
so he can be based
Well,
by, theoretically, this Longbeard, who has to get freed up from a sidestepper.
yeah, so you have to do a block on the wrestle guy, and then you can come in and blitz him, and then the Longbeard is free. But you've still got
That
the ball on
removal,
a
though,
strength 3.
that is so big.
Yeah, that's it's changed really fast to that one cast.
Even if he forces Hoyleyboy to score next turn, Hoyleyboy might just score next turn because suddenly I don't know what Kolian does on offense.
Not much. Has he put him in a position where he has to score next turn?
But he can get some
Camera.
tags, and maybe Hoyleyboy just has
4,
no
6.
players to really resist a drive.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I might just score here. Go for it. We did say that early on that Hoyleyboy was going to have to take some risks and use some rerolls, and he's down to 1. But I think why not go
Stuns
for it?
here are super irrelevant for Hoyleyboy. Hoyleyboy does not care about any stuns at this point.
Well, I mean, it does sort of change your thought about stalling. Because
I'm not so sure because it's going to be hard to, like, great, they're there, they're annoying. Outrun them for a turn? Yeah, I don't.
yeah, you can't quite outrun
Really
these two players.
meaningful. Can get another 2 dice maybe on, yeah, maybe he does some dodges to make it harder to stall, but I don't. If he scores next turn, it's still pretty good. Yeah. A 9.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Now you just score.
Think so.
Because anything else you do involves rolling
If
dice.
not, you could have gone to the left and screened off and stood up and taken up actions and turn out, but 4 turns to strike back.
You know what? Maybe what happens if you do get this Longbeard out of the way, you run the catcher all the way down to the left sideline, and then you give him the ball. Or well, you give him the ball first. You run back with this guy,
Maybe.
hand off to the catcher, and then run down here to the sideline. Because then he can't be caught. But
This is really like a game that might get decided in regulation for the first time.
Yeah, it might be. Kolian's got to find a way. He got a KO back.
KO recovery, but that Kaz ain't coming back, and the Kaz is the most important injury of the entire game so far. So I know Hoyleyboy's why he's staying central is really good because you don't want the dwarfs to force a quick score up or get any side, but I might want to go wide here just in case, because if you get a blitz, you might just straight out win the game.
Yeah, that is a consideration. You don't really have to cover the wide zones because the dwarfs aren't going to push quickly.
No.
Presumably,
But
one
it
of your
does make it easier
Longbeards.
for you to cover, right?
Right, a little bit.
Yeah.
If they commit to one side, you can get people from all the way from the far side in. So yeah, I don't mind keeping everybody central at all. But sure, it would be nice to have the opportunity to capitalize a little bit more on a blitz.
The Troll Slayer is going to have to be the one that'll carry the ball here. The KO recoveries there are pretty big. Hoyleyboy would love to have just one more player and be up mins.
Yeah, 10 on 10 is not so terrible.
The dwarfs be down.
The dwarfs get more rerolls. Once again, fame making a difference. Oh, that's a shitty kick if you're the dwarfs. You really now you just don't have time to go back, pick it up, and waddle forward and score.
Oh, this
Yeah,
is dwarves are now like going to strive for overtime. There's really
yeah,
no other choice.
that's all they have.
In some ways, that's bad for the humans because it means they aren't going to really expose the ball for anything, or they shouldn't expose the ball for anything ever.
And well, you know, you still have a chance in overtime to do the same thing that you were hoping for in regular time. But it would be nicer to have two shots at it than one.
Mhm.
And if the dwarfs do happen to go on offense, they can stall it out, right? They have a 2 reroll advantage. That's um, something like a 4-to-1 odds of winning kicks. Let me see if I remember how to check that. I never do. OT odds. Now, 2 rerolls down, you have an 18.8 chance of winning on penalty kicks. So it's better than 80% for the dwarfs.
The
Which,
kickoff
you know,
results have been pretty impactful for the lesser impactful kickoff extra reroll ones.
yeah, and it wouldn't surprise me if they got another one for the overtime.
Mhm.
Should it come to that?
Let's pick up the ball,
Yeah,
but
it doesn't really matter. I like that he's brought half his team back to help screen the ball. Humans aren't really going to have a great chance to get through if the dwarfs just sit back and do nothing. And you won't want to leave any kind of crazy dwarf pass play on either. Because those tend to work more than you want them to.
yeah, we've all seen dwarves just roll some fours for no reason, and it's always disappointing that it happens. But it's going to show up every so often.
Yeah, well, agility too. It's not that great, but it's good enough
Earlier, I was
sometimes.
saying that a 4+2+2+ is not even hard for an elf. So why would a 4+ catch 2+2+ GFI be any more hard for a dwarf? Just because it's less expected.
Yeah. Well, it's there's some psychological stuff to that too. You think dwarfs should never be able to do any of that bullshit, but it's not that hard for them.
His catcher and throw up the field, the players that he most. Oh, the ogre
Ooh.
has finally kind of started
Huh?
being a dummy. He's been
Yeah.
very well behaved so far this game.
That's the first bonehead that I can remember.
Activated a lot because he was laying down quite a few turns in the first half, but
Yeah,
he's been very well behaved for
he's
how
been
coordinated his
huge.
actions have been. Yeah.
I think I'd have used him to base that long beard.
He's had a couple of first action blocks or very important blocks, and he's done them all very well. So, game from the ogre so far, and you can't always count on that. Sometimes they're just absolutely dreadful.
There goes another wrestle man.
The recoveries are going to be pretty big for
Mm,
Hoyleyboy. He'd love to have 11 men in the overtime that we're looking at right now.
Power thrower is pretty good. You can't come back and mark that catcher though. Is he going to
Cage is
GFI to
one
cage?
square. Yeah, we're going to GFI to cage,
Yeah,
which
I
is
guess
not
that's not where you
great.
want to be, but why not? Wonder if Colin's still thinking maybe I can get forward and score here. It doesn't seem
He needs to.
reasonable.
He can't. He
Okay.
cannot score. He has to do another GFI to be in range to score with 14 squares off, I think.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's a couple squares away. And he just brought his long beard backwards, so that's not a scoring threat either. And just bring everybody in contact. You want all your dwarfs around the ball, and he's starting to get there. And if something terrible does happen, you want the ball on the ground as far forward as possible. Oh, you got to eat that. Take it to overtime. You got to eat it. It sucks, but you got to take it. Yeah, that's the right call.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
It
That's
is, but it
chance to
probably
try. You
isn't.
got another
Yeah,
turn to try and put pressure on the ball. You don't have to do it now.
it's not going to really affect things because the dwarfs aren't scoring,
No.
and they still have to deal with the ogre. They have enough people
I
to do it.
believe this very top can get into range to score.
Oh,
So
ooh, look at
a
that.
million GFIs.
He's free. If nothing else, you can also you have plenty of spare men that are free. You can try and cage a little farther forward. Is he thinking handoff? For one camera, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3 GFIs for that Longbeard. That Longbeard was KO'd, by the way, a few turns ago, and now he's back. This is super ballsy if he's gonna go for it, and he is. And
Oh boy, this is a play.
it's
And I don't think that
all
works.
in, and it's not in. Well, it's on the ground, but it's in a couple tackle zones, and
He will not, so no one will be scoring this half, most likely. But suddenly
right.
the humans have a chance to score. And I don't know if that was necessary.
No,
But he
he
gives
could
too
have
much time to win
protected the
regular
ball.
time, right?
He could definitely have just protected the ball.
Yeah. It gave Kolian a chance to win regular time,
Hmm.
but
And it cost him a reroll.
reroll on that play. But I don't think you make the play at all if you're not going to do a reroll on it. So
Yeah. It's if you're gonna do it, you might as well be all in. But is that really the time to go all in? I don't know. On the other hand, maybe he's thinking, I don't have my ball carrier for overtime, even if I do win the toss. I may not really be favored. I have a
this has all
chance.
gone pretty well.
I have a chance
We've
to do
got
it right
a
now.
3+4+ pass
Hmm?
for 3+ catch, 3+ pickup, 3+ dodge, 3+ pickup, 4+ pass. It's away.
I don't
And
know which man made the block here. I can't tell what's
Hoyleyboy
happening.
wins the game.
My game has stopped. I'm looking at a POW.
So it looks like Hoyleyboy is figuring out how he wants to
This is
go for
more
this
than
up
15
close.
seconds. I don't know if Cyanide has gone crazy or I have, or oh no, we're all right. Everything's good. It's an armor break. That's excellent.
Doesn't get the dodge,
This
doesn't get the pickup. Oh boy.
POW, you could chain. No,
Or
you can't. But you can scatter the ball.
catch fails. That is
Oh,
heartbreaking.
oh my gosh! Hold on, you're like 20 seconds ahead of me now, and you're saying things like catch fails while I'm watching him do blocks. On the other hand, I don't want to. I don't want to quit the replay and restart it here.
You should be fine.
Yeah. So he threw the ball and the catch failed. 1 and 9. Oh yeah. All right. While the dwarfs are doing nothing because that's the end of the half, I'm gonna quit the replay and restart it.
But the humans still have one more turn.
Cabal
But
TV.
yeah.
Search for match. No luck, pure skill. That's the game we're watching. Hopefully it'll load before it's over. Apologies, everyone, for our little bit of technical issues, but we're doing our best. It's a poor craftsman that blames his tools, but I'm a poor craftsman. And wow, is that ball really way over there?
Yeah, it got surf.
Yeah,
The ball scattered
out of
off
bounds.
the surf. Yeah,
Yeah,
scattered out of bounds and flew all the way up there.
so it looks like overtime.
Do you even roll dice here?
You could
Yeah, that's
make a
about it.
4+3+ dodge into a like 10+ pass, and he tried it and it didn't work out. I mean, no, sure, have a flyer. You could Kaz yourself, but that's about it.
Yeah.
And you'd hate to lose that guy, but the odds are
KO
pretty low.
recovery rolls are good enough.
Dwarfs have everyone back, so they're gonna have. Well, they still have 10 players.
And that is a human human offense. Okay.
And
And
the
the humans a horrendous first half offense.
Yep. So they're gonna have to figure out what they did wrong and improve on it. But it's 10 against 10, and here they
No
can
death roller
definitely,
or like block
yeah.
off sides either. So
That death roller was really handy on defense. Well, on offense, but after he took the ball away.
yeah. Now Hoyleyboy is still kolian is still at the reroll advantage, so he does stopping a score might be enough for him to win. Especially because
Right.
the humans are gonna probably are gonna have to use the reroll to score here.
Well, we'll see how the what the kickoff result is too, because it would not surprise me again to see kolian get a third free reroll this half. Dwarfs are spread pretty wide. They kind of have to stop any sort of fast score shenanigans. But you knock down this player on the line of scrimmage, the whole middle of the field is wide open. Maybe the Troll Slayer even gets blitzed. You could have ball in a cage in scoring range right in the middle of the field. There you go. Another reroll for kolian, and it's a touchback.
Pretty good.
It's a lot better than the ogre
The ball
catching it.
Catcher here. Throw the sidestep here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Give yourself the best chance to just run it in with speed.
Right, because even if you pick the ball up at the
Crank
thrower, you want to give it to the. Oh! There you go. Oh, and he's going to eat it. Pretty safe, but still really frustrating.
Yeah.
Because this could have been so good.
This could have been a straight just crank the ball right into the middle of the field.
Yeah.
Tie up everything and just win next turn.
The dwarfs are going to have time to get everybody into position again, and it's just going to be a long, slow slog. And we've been watching Blood Bowl for 4 hours, and we got another half of dwarf to watch. I gave myself 5 hours because we started at 2, and the local supermarket closes at. Oh, actually, no, it's open till 9 tonight, so I can still go out and get dinner. So, all right, take your time, guys. We're good.
That was also my thought, is making sure I had time to go get dinner after this.
Yeah, for some reason, I thought it was Sunday when the stores do close early.
It's tomorrow when you'll need to buy lunch. But you
Yeah.
need to buy dinner for tomorrow.
Well, I've got most of what I need for like 3 days worth of meals. I just want to pick up a couple of things that I'm out of so I can complete everything. And I was too lazy to do it before these games started. But more importantly, that ogre is getting 1 dice knocked over. And the dwarfs have a very nice.
Troll Slayer having to stay back as
Yeah.
safety. Still, that's for the dwarves is really good.
Yeah,
with all their line LOs getting to act 2, it's pretty great.
Yeah, if you're doing it in late, it's overtime. It's an elimination game. kolian with dwarfs has 9 longbeards and a troll slayer on the field, and that's all he's got. Hoyleyboy has humans. He's got the ball on offense, but he's 2 rerolls down, and his first half offense was really uninspiring. He's going to have to greatly improve on his play if he wants to get past these dwarfs and score. At the moment, kolian has the 2 reroll advantage, gives him about an 80% chance to win penalty kicks. I don't think it's that likely to get there, but we'll see what happens. The dwarfs still have all 6 of their guard pieces, so guard is just all up and down this line. That's a nice little chain to get.
For a POW there to allow himself some kind of chain push inside cage, probably.
Yeah. It's golden goal. It's you score and you win and you move on. So humans are probably at least thinking about trying to set up a quick score. And that's one square short of where you would need to be to
Yeah,
score.
this is the same issue we ran into with
2,
Larkstar's game,
4,
where you're setting
6,
yourself up
8,
to be
10,
one square
11.
short. There you go.
Yeah,
You gotta be in scoring range this turn.
but the GFI makes it easier for the Troll Slayer to reach you.
But you have size up and he doesn't have tackle.
Yeah.
So
The guy that dodged. Oh no, he's in a good spot screening off these guys. I thought, should he not be up here somewhere? But I think he's alright where he is.
he's fine where he is.
Yeah, because
Maybe the other catcher should be one square forward as well. You're betting on a lot of dice, but
the Longbeards with tackle are actually scarier than the Troll Slayer.
we're just doing his job, being a big meat cushion to take a one dice block here and make it hopefully be something. But I don't see an option here other than so he's gonna get 2 dice here with the Troll Slayer.
Yeah.
Don't think you do anything before that. It is a GFI. He just rolls fouls.
Yeah. He sidestep off the
Scatter's
sideline.
really good.
That scatter is
For
excellent. Troll Slayer can GFI again to get onto it. And he'll probably be thinking about a 1 dice on the Ogre to free a couple of Longbeards to get near the ball, too.
not GFI onto the ball because the other
Because he's got
catcher
other
isn't
things
scoring
to
range.
do.
Yeah. Scoring. No, the other catcher is not. No, okay. I had to look at that like 3 times. But yes, the catcher is in scoring range. So if he gets,
Yes.
so he's got to get this. This 1 dice needs to just be a push though. That's plenty.
Knockdown is
So
excellent.
now it shouldn't be happening.
You gonna try and pick the ball up? He totally is. And that's why you don't need ball carriers. And we gave you a summary. It's a Troll Slayer and nothing but Longbeards because his runner, his only Agility 3 player, is Kazed and out for the game. So why not just pick it up on a Longbeard and then spend 5 turns running forward and scoring? There's another Bonehead. That's
I mean,
that's what he's left with, right? And Kolian's played a lot of dwarfs. I'm sure he's gone with a build like this before in CCL for some games. I'm sure this is not the first time he's faced having to play Longbeard ball.
The question now is where this blitz is going to come. The ogre standing up would have been pretty good there, but it's not critical that he isn't either. Really, the lineman to his right being stunned is more of a problem.
Yeah, because he's just
right now as possible.
Yeah.
I guess the blitz could be on this Longbeard with guard, but the pushes on him are pretty not good. So
yeah, if you do knock him down, then you can. Well, I mean, this catcher doesn't really want to throw block either, but knocking him down means you have 2 more guys that can come up and around and be near the ball. You probably want to stand the sidestep man up too.
pushes aren't great.
Nope, but you can. Oh, he's gonna follow too. Expected him not to follow, so he could have come up this way, but I guess this works out fine.
Kind of want to dodge. Sidestep does stand up. Does he dodge out? Yeah,
he fails
you
it.
to dodge him to get him isolated onto the.
All right. Oh, he's gonna. That's his last reroll into 1. So Hoyleyboy's had some tough dice in the last couple of turns. He opened.
Dodge dice have been pretty bad for most of the game.
Yeah. And some of it's dodging away from tackles, so he's had to use some rerolls too. So that's really disappointing. But he's made some fancy dodges too, so it's not all not all awful.
The second half score was a lot of good dice that all showed up at the right time at a critical moment. So.
Yeah, and we wouldn't even be here without him, so I guess you can't complain too much. It's certainly been an interesting back and forth sort of game. Not one you'd say was perfectly played, but sometimes that's what makes them more interesting.
Mhm. It's 1-minute tournaments, right? They're not supposed to be perfectly played. They're supposed to be very well played within 1 minute.
Yeah,
A lot of errors every so often.
these
That way, the game's
these
a bit
are
more interesting.
these are some of the best coaches we could rustle up, and we put them under a lot of pressure playing on fast turns.
3 rolls is you. What's 3 roll advantage give you in it for overtime for kicks? It's like
Uh,
90% chance to win.
it's
94.
about 91. It's 90.8. And while I'm here, let me double check. Yeah. Yeah, it's a little better than 90%. So Hoyleyboy is faced with having to get the ball away from a long beard and pick it up and score with no rerolls.
I mean, this is for a pretty shockingly simple 2 dice on the ball, all things considered. But I don't see a recovery option that's very good. So
Well, with half your team on the ground, there's never going to be a great recovery.
And I misspoke. There's not even a very good easy 2 dice. It's actually relatively hard. I thought I didn't see that the mighty blow tackle was in a tackle zone. No, this is
Yeah, you can't just
baseball
walk
sidestep, but
forward,
that's
right?
about it.
I mean, this guy can get to here,
Just wrestle.
and that's where he's gone. Once you
Dice
pow
pow there is
him,
pretty
now
good.
you have this dodge. This is the blitzer who can go 4, 5, 6 hits. And what you're hoping for is the ball will scatter up and out into the middle of the field in this area. Maybe you can catch it with the catcher, or if not, the catcher can dodge and pick it up and run away. You could just win right here. And double pow is a good start. That's not the best scatter. I mean, the dwarfs won't be picking it up probably, but you won't be picking it up either. You have a 4+3+ to dodge around with the catcher.
Dodge one of those dodges is through tackle, so
Yeah,
yeesh.
not pleasant. Probably don't even want to try it, especially the way he's been dodging these days. And he
It failed.
just failed. So the dwarfs have lost the ball, but they'll still feel pretty okay about this.
The goal right now is more than scoring. Scoring is great. Scoring is amazing. It's just to make sure that
Killing
humans do
time.
not run away with the ball.
Right.
Humans cannot get a clear path to get away with the ball at any
You
point in this game.
you want to be careful. The dwarfs may not even want to try to pick the ball up, even if they clear it, because a scatter out of bounds could lead to a throw in somewhere where only the humans can get it. I mean, sure, if you knock down the entire human team and stun 3 or 4 of them, then go for it. But I'd be very cautious about trying to pick the ball up. On the other hand, you can't just leave it there with a bunch of humans around. The catcher, sooner or later, is going to make a 4+ dodge. And if he picks the ball up too, then that's terrible. The humans would be really thrilled to scatter this. Granted, you're just knocking this guy over, but if you don't, push him here, get him out of the way. But if you could block one of these guys into the ball, maybe it scatters out, and suddenly you have a chance to steal a game that you really don't deserve to. You might even try to dodge and pick the ball up, right? Because if this fails, it's 4+4+. If you pick it up, hooray! Then you just dodge up the sideline, and if you don't get it, maybe it scatters out, ends up here somewhere, and next turn only you can reach it.
Yeah, that might be the best play. Maybe you probably want to stand up this blitzer on the outside and take a block with the wrestle to finally maybe get this blitzer
Right.
in
Yeah. I mean,
play sometime.
yeah, you still take your
Next
2
few
dice
turns.
blocks if you can, but you're definitely starting to get close to desperation mode. So, going for a scatter like that is not very likely to work, but if it does, you could steal the game. And you might not have much better at this point. It's certainly not easy to find something better in 60 seconds.
Dwarf is going to take up the actions of these two players for all of time. My God. Well, instead of I was gonna say you do the -2 dice, right? Because
Yeah.
now it's a
Now
dodge
you
without.
you
Now it's a
push
dodge
him,
with dodge.
and you pick it up and run
3
away.
plus pick up, and you can run away.
Didn't get it.
Worst scatter.
But yeah, you can always sidestep onto the ball next when they hit you.
Mhm.
So the whole scatter thing is still on too. So yeah, good play. The dwarfs may be able to find enough bodies to 3 dice this catcher, but how much does that help? Maybe you don't even block him. You just put a wall of guys all around where the ball is. If he's going to scatter it, make him do it on his own turn. So it'll be a turnover. And he's not blitzed. You could blitz like
At
this.
this point, I guess you're just hoping for. You just needed some 1 and 9s. I don't really know what you're like. It's so dicey at this point. From Hoyleyboy, just betting on bad dice is all he's got really. Do bad dice happen? Is what we got really
and
going on here.
Sometimes they do. We've seen enough of them happen so far today.
Also seen a couple bad plays happen, so there's always a chance kolian does that as well.
Oh, that works.
Slightly relevant removal.
Yeah, it takes a guard blitzer out of the play. 3 seconds. Are you blitzing the... Yes, you are.
Just in time.
I think this scares me. Oh, scatter works out. I mean, again,
he doesn't go for the pickup there.
Hoyleyboy can just stand up and try to pick the ball up and scatter it out again. But now there's... well,
I guess this time you go for the -2 dice blitz and try to go for the pickup again, and maybe throw it down and try and duel again.
There's not a whole lot more to do.
And then,
although I may just try the pickup instead of the -2. Maybe
the scatter's back. You're just
trying for the scatter. Maybe what you do is you activate the blitz, dodge straight down. If everything works, suddenly you pick the ball up, and then you're blitzing. You can blitz your way out on a -2 dice. That's kind of the best of both terrible worlds, is what you're hoping for there. I don't know if it's any good, but
I think if I'm going to do the -2, I just do it to start the action. I don't do it at the end.
The thing is, it's so bad if it fails.
Do you ever want to dodge this thrower, or this blitzer out to make them relevant at some point in the next 2 turns? But
you're on...
done an amazing job of tying up the blitzer on the right.
Right. These two players here have been stuck 2-on-1 for a long time. And that's sort of the dark side of wrestle. I mean, it's great that you wrestle the guy down, but then he just stands up again.
The other problem with wrestle in this specific case is if he had taken it both down and just taken the both down, he'd be standing up and he could have acted to block next turn. But he just couldn't this turn, so...
And he's down to 0 on the clock.
So kolian's probably fine just taking the hits and staying on the ball here and just going to kicks.
I mean, the dwarfs aren't scoring. I might not even have hit that guy. Well, another good scatter. Well, no, it can still scatter back onto the sidestep man and out. But it ended up in a perfect spot. And now Hoyleyboy has 2 turns left to make a miracle happen.
So going back to the very beginning, I guess, did you ever put any consideration to re-rolling that first 1 in 36 block to give yourself a real full first turn and a real full chance to get a better offense at, or you keep playing this kind of really scrappy game?
I think I'd have done what he did and gone for the scrappy game. Because the ball at the time was still pretty safe. The dwarfs couldn't really threaten it. And yeah, it's disappointing, but you only have 1 reroll left and your opponent has 3 and it's overtime. You hate to burn it unless it's critical. So I personally like just eating that block, but I know a lot of good players would have gone for a reroll there.
Yeah.
Kolian may even try to just pick it up with the Troll
J5 would have,
Slayer.
and he's the best coach we know.
Yeah.
J5 wouldn't have had a rerolls.
No, yeah, let's be fair. J5 would have been out of rerolls by turn 11. Never mind turn 19 or whatever. And Kolian could just, like I say, he could just pick the ball up at the Troll
I think
Slayer.
at this point you do go for the pickup because the ball isn't going to sky. It's very unlikely. It's like a 1 in 8, 1 in 64.
Yeah, just pick it up, run backwards.
Bounds.
Nobody's going to hit you.
Catcher's got a 1. The thrower's got a -2 on you.
Yeah, maybe he went backwards 1 square too much. If you're 1 square farther forward, you're a little safer, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of things have to go really, really right for Hoyleyboy right now, and even if they do,
he doesn't. I don't know how he gets the scoring threat.
Nobody's picking the ball up and scoring, right? So it looks like Kolian has done enough. But
finally clears players off. My God, it's happened.
Oh, there you go. Good job, Erdal. You did a yeoman's work there, and we don't need you anymore. Can this wrestle piece now do a double GFI cage dive blitz? No. It doesn't really help to come back. I mean, the Troll Slayer could run forward and score, and I'm sure you'd take it if you could, because 100% chance is better than a 90-something. But the 3 reroll advantage is enough most of the time.
And scoring would most likely require using a reroll, which would sacrifice some of that advantage.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, if you're Hoyleyboy, a 1 in 9 to win is not terrible, right? I mean, it's terrible, but it's better than a lot of things that could have happened.
Yeah. So now Hoyleyboy is just gonna have to go for hope to win the 1 in 10's chance to win kicks at this point. There's no other option. I don't think he's anyone that can even get into scoring range. Maybe the splitzer could be chained into scoring range.
Maybe, yeah, you can -2 your catcher out and then run him forward. You'll knock this guy down and just run into the middle of the field. I don't know about that. I don't like going towards this last blitzer over here. But, injuring guys, that works too. Get a guy over here somewhere. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, it would take a chain to get this man in scoring range. So it's reasonably safe to go for a potato. It's probably just a dodge 1 die with wrestle, followed by nobody's going to score anyway because it's turn 24 and nobody can reach.
This is a reasonable play by Kolian. There's no reason not to give you the chance to score. Do you think you give up a
Something crazy just happened with your microphone.
Is it better now?
Oh no, it's perfect now. It just got really loud and staticky for a sec.
Okay.
All right, well, wrestle, that's
Wrestle does
good.
the job.
Yeah, so it's going to be kicks, and we've seen that the odds of Kolian winning this with 3 rerolls is a little over 90%. But
Well, he
less
has to
likely
roll
things have happened.
1, and Hoyleyboy has to roll a 6 for him, or they have to both roll 6s, or Kolian has to roll a 2, and then Hoyleyboy rolls a 6, and then eventually you get to the point where Hoyleyboy rolls a 6, like that.
It's
So
not.
there's like no chance to
It's
draw
not
there.
quite that bad. Like a 2 and a 6, or a 1 and a 5, or a 1 and a 6.
Yeah. Yeah,
and
2 and a
it's
6 and a 1 and a 5 move to a draw. No, 2 and a 6 and a 1 and a 5 win.
yes. So there are 3 wins and a couple of do-overs as well. So it's not really 3 and 36. It's like 3 and 34 or 3 and 33 or something.
Yeah.
1 and 11 roughly.
Taking blocks for fun, though they don't mean anything.
Holy shit! I just got hosted for 50,000 viewers, 500,000 viewers. Pretty sure that's not right, but hello there, Mr. Calcium Cast, and all the people watching Blood Bowl over on your channel. We are going to penalty kicks here. Kolian has a 3 reroll advantage, and it was not very difficult.
I don't know what you saw, but I just saw an ogre miss the.
Yep,
reroll.
Ogre just missed his first penalty. So Kolian is going to move on to play tomorrow. He's still in the losers bracket, so he's very close to being eliminated. But he's still in with a shout, and he can get in. He can get into the finals with a couple of good wins tomorrow. Hoyleyboy gave it a good try, but wasn't able to pull it out. 19 armor breaks to 8 out of 90 blocks for the dwarfs. We've seen a lot of high block games, and that's another one. 90 blocks into only 5 removals is pretty disappointing when you're hitting armor 8, but still not too bad.
Well, humans are the bashiest team. So
yes, they absolutely
did pretty well.
are. They were just as good with almost with slightly more than half the blocks thrown.
Humans did have more mighty blow, but yeah, they get the most important casualty there to even give themselves a shot at the win with that runner Kaz. So.
Oh my god, look at all those POWs the dwarfs rolled. 24, 24, 72, 25, and 40. A little absurd, but when you throw 70 blocks, things like that are going to happen.